Hi there, this is Ranjit, and in this video I'll be doing a FAQ video for this Nokia 6.1 Plus, and I have been using this device for the last 3.5 days before producing this FAQ video. So let me answer the most common questions that I was getting, and at the end of the video I'll also give you my very quick analysis of this device, what I really liked and what are the things that are annoying me on this device. But first let me answer your questions, and I've already posted its unboxing and overview video. If you want to know more about this device, I'll leave the link for that video, so do check out that. But here I'll directly jump to your questions, and the first one was from Shubham. How's the camera performance of this phone? And I've got this question from quite a few of you. How is the camera on this phone? And many of you were expecting that the camera would be spectacular. It's okay in outdoor lighting conditions, but when we move to indoor lighting conditions and artificial lighting conditions, I would say the camera performance is not that great. And I feel that is due to the sensor that is used on the rear facing camera. The sensor is simply not that great in gathering a lot of light. So that's the problem. In fact, I would say the front facing camera is decent, but the rear facing camera in artificial lighting and indoor lighting conditions is not as good as the competition around this price point. This is by Vijay Gupta. Would there be a 6GB RAM variant? I don't think so, because Nokia India hasn't announced anything about it. There's only one variant of this one that is sold, that is with 4GB of RAM. So this is the only variant that is available. This is by Arnab. What do you think about the battery life and the audio output? I was also actually very worried about the battery life, because it doesn't have a very huge battery life. These days we are seeing very huge battery lives, but I was very pleasantly surprised with the battery life that I was getting. And here are the screenshots from my typical usage, and as you can see, we got some very good battery life. I didn't expect this, but again guys, this was with single SIM usage. Mostly it was on 4G, but then also it got some very good battery life. So in terms of battery life, the battery life is actually good and should easily last for a typical full working day. Now moving to the audio output via the headphone jack, I did test it with a couple of headphones and also some popular earphones. For example, this is the JBL budget earphones that I reviewed recently, and I have to say the audio output via the headphone jack was actually good and satisfactory, so no complaints over there. But one thing is that with some heavy headphones like this, I had to keep the volume level at about 75 to 80%. But with these normal earbuds that you might be using, even at about 50 or 60% volume, the output was good. This is by Anurag. How is the calibration of sensors present in the Nokia 6.1 Plus? Does the auto brightness sensor perform well or not? Sound output I've already mentioned, so won't include that. Okay, regarding the sensors calibration, yes, it has all the sensors, and I think so you are asking about the auto brightness sensor. And I have to say, I'm not very happy with the auto brightness sensor calibration on this one. It is pretty buggy, and many times it just goes very bright or goes very dull. So I simply do not like the auto brightness calibration on this. And most of the time when I was actually using this phone for the past 3.5 days, I had to manually go into the brightness and keep on fiddling with it. Again, I noticed this issue even with the Mi A2, and that also runs the Android One program. So maybe it's with the Android One program devices, because other devices, even in the budget range around this one, never have this much problem with the auto brightness sensor. So the auto brightness sensor works. It's not like it doesn't work, but it's very finicky, and you would be fiddling actually a lot of times with the manually adjusting the brightness even with the auto brightness on. This is by Yash Raj. Does it have all sensors like gyroscope, compass? Yes, it does have all the sensors that you are asking. I checked it. Yes, it does have gyroscope and even the compass sensor. So in terms of sensors, don't worry, it has all the sensors on it. This is by Mr. Singh. He's asking, how's the RAM management and the battery life? Battery life already mentioned. Another auto brightness sensor calibration I've already mentioned. Regarding the RAM management, it has 4GB of RAM, and it does a okay-ish job in terms of RAM management. It was not like a deal breaker to me. It has 4GB of RAM. It was not like it was like just loading apps out of the memory every second or third. But I did notice that the RAM management can be actually improved. If I compare with other devices, for example, I also have the Pixel 2 XL, which also has just 4GB of RAM, and that's also stock Android like this. And I feel the RAM management is better on that. So yes, there is scope of improvement in the RAM management. But again, I won't say the RAM management is too bad. yes, I have noticed one thing on this phone is that if you let's say you're using 4 or 5 apps, of Twitter, jumping between your browser and all those things, those will work fine. But if you come after half an hour or something and you go to another app, it might load out of memory. So it is doing that a little bit more aggressive. So that is the only thing that I've noticed. But yeah, they can actually fix it with an update. But I think so because of that aggressive RAM management, that's the reason this phone is actually getting very good battery life, even though it doesn't have a huge battery. This is by Anjin. He's asking, I have a bunch of questions. He says, how good is the battery? Battery is decent, as I mentioned. Second is camera is too bad compared to the Redmi Note 5 Pro. Plus and minuses on the blue tint while viewing on different angles. Regarding the screen is fine. I would say I didn't have a problem with the screen on this one. If you look at it, fine. It's a normal IPS. Yes, there is a slight bluish tint if you tilt it to extreme angles if you have a lot of white. But again, not a huge deal breaker in my frank opinion. Who watches the phone like this, I would say. Second thing, if you compare the camera to the Redmi Note 5 Pro, I feel the Redmi Note 5 Pro has a better camera than this one. This is by Indran. He's asking, how is the camera performance in video? Does it have EIS or even 4K video shooting? Here again, I shot a sample video, both at 1080p and 4K. Yes, it has EIS, but again, there is some issue with the video. If you shoot videos indoor, here is a sample clip that gives you an idea. Shooting the sample video with the Nokia 6.1 Plus, and as you can see, I'm in my office, and looks like the video is stable. So yes, it's doing stabilization, that's EIS. But this is at 1080p. But one thing that I've noticed is that you'll notice that little bit of flicker in the light. It doesn't have an option yet to change it to 50 or 60 hertz. So yeah, you might get flickering like this in artificial lighting conditions. Now recording this video in 4K, and I'm just doing the same thing, walking around to see if it is doing any stabilization. I feel like 1080p it will do the best in terms of EIS, but yeah, this is at 4K. So the next question is from Rajiv. He's asking, does it have a physical LED notification light? Sadly, no physical LED notification light on this one. So that is a one big annoying thing that I have with this one. It has that ambient display like this. So whenever a notification comes, it just comes here for a few seconds. But again, this is not always on, guys. This will disappear after some time. So no LED notification light, and I was missing it during my testing. This is by Srinivas. He is asking, hi Ranjit, there are a lot of phones launched under rupees 20,000. Got confused which one to go, camera and SoC and true VoLTE. I mean, he's thinking dual VoLTE support phones are my consideration. Around 20,000 we have a lot of options. I would say if you can add up to 1,000 rupees more, the Poco F1 would be the best choice. It's leaps and bounds better than most of the other phones. We also have the Honor Play at 20,000. That's also a nice phone. And if you really want Android One device, I would recommend the Mi A2 over this one. Yes, it doesn't have the headphone jack and other issues, but I feel the camera is actually better on the Mi A2. As you were mentioning, camera is also important. And if you don't care about the Android One program, if you're okay with custom skins, you can also have a look at the Redmi Note 5 Pro. I feel overall package, it offers better value than this one. This I would say is for people who do not like large screen phones. It's having a 5.8 inch screen, hence it's very compact. As you can see, it easily fits in your hand, and it's a very, very stylish phone. Those are the two things that I really liked on this. This is by Jolan. How is the camera in low light? Does it retain the details of the image clicked? And how does it compare to the Redmi Note 5 Pro? Battery I've already mentioned. As I mentioned, in low lighting and artificial lighting, this will really struggle. And I don't know why they have used this sensor on this one. So it's a hardware limitation. And yes, the Redmi Note 5 Pro will perform better in artificial and low light conditions compared to this one. Let's move to the next one. This is by Mr. Banerjee. I've used the Redmi Note 5 Pro for a few days. I want to exchange my phone with the Nokia 6.1 Plus. Please confused. I don't think so. It's a very good option because in terms of speed, you won't notice. And in fact, in terms of camera, I would say you will feel that it's sort of a downgrade. And also the fingerprint scanner is a little bit flaky on this one. In fact, I don't like the placement of the fingerprint scanner. If you notice, I'm just holding the phone like this, and where does your finger actually go? It goes to the LED notification light. So you have to actually adjust your grip to get to this fingerprint scanner, and that is the reason many times I'm actually missing it. So yeah, that's also one more bug that I've noticed with this one. And this is by Dhanush. Does the Nokia 6.1 get regular security updates? I was also thinking that this phone will get regular security updates, but I did check. Here is a screenshot. What is today's date? It's August 30th, but still it's on the July security update. Maybe when September comes, they might directly update it. I'm also actually waiting for a security update. And I thought Nokia would push out monthly security update, but that's not the case, at least with this one. It's still running on the July update, and I've checked it about a dozen times, still sticking on the July security update, whereas other phones have got the August security update already. This is by Jatin. For me, the use is WhatsApp, he says, YouTube and normal browsing, and camera. I don't play games on mobile. I like the Mi 8 too, but it's too big for me. I'm looking for one hand phone. Kindly suggest me in that price range. Please suggest OnePlus to launch a mini version. I don't think so the OnePlus will launch a mini version. So yeah, that is the thing with this phone. We don't get a lot of phones that are compact these days. Most of the phones that we are seeing in the market are like 6 or 6.2 inches, which some people might not like. They want phone that can be easily controlled in a single hand. So if you're that kind of a user, I would say you can actually go for this, because it fits easily in your single hand and you can operate the entire phone with a single hand. Okay, let's move to the next one. This is by Rajan. Is there any OT update regarding I'm also actually waiting, because there are some bugs that I haven't actually noticed in the camera interface. It doesn't happen every time, but sometimes when I hit the shutter to take the photograph, it simply doesn't take. I have to tap it 2 or 3 times. And don't get me wrong, it doesn't happen all the time, but maybe once in 20 times it is happening, and it even happened to me once in video. So there are some bugs that I'm noticing in the camera UI, and also that flickering issue. You can't set 50 or 60 hertz in video. That's also a bug. Hopefully they fix those bugs with the OT update. Actually, I'm also waiting for a OT and a security update of this device to do a full review. Hence, that's the reason I'm posting this FAQ video, because the review might get delayed. Only after I get an update, then I want to do a full review with this device. And this is the last question. This is by Ayan. Is the product value for money at its price range? If not, please suggest. I don't think so. It's a true value for money. You are definitely paying a premium, but for the styling of this phone, again, I will definitely say this, and I said this in my unboxing video also, it's the most stylish looking phone in the price range, and it looks way more premium than it commands. So if you're that kind of a person who wants to carry a phone that looks great, yes, it's going to look great. But again, in terms of camera and other aspects, I was a little bit disappointed with this device. In that way, I would say the Redmi Note 5 Pro overall package offers better value. Yes, it's not an Android One device, but yeah, I feel that is better value for money. So those were the FAQ questions, and here a quick summary of the device. These are some of the things that I did not like on this device. The thing is the fingerprint scanner, because of the position, many times you will actually hit it in the wrong position. You will eventually get used to it after 4 or 5 days, but I simply do not like the position of the fingerprint scanner, because naturally your finger doesn't go there. You have to adjust your finger for that. Also, moving to the auto brightness calibration, I simply do not like the auto brightness calibration on this device. Also, regarding video, if you shoot indoors, you might get that flickering, because it simply doesn't allow us to set 50 or 60 hertz, which is actually important. And also it has that notch and it's there, and guys, you cannot hide the notch as of now. So that is also one more thing that you have to note. And about the camera bugs, some bugs that I have noticed, hopefully they fix that with the software update. But here are the good things that I liked about this device. It's a very compact device, so for people who like a small size phone and want to use the entire phone as a single hand, you can actually have a look at this one, because we don't have a lot of options as of now. The processor is relatively good, Snapdragon 636, so no issues with that. Also, in terms of looks and the premiumness, it looks really, really good. So gives you that wow factor, I would say. It feels a lot more premium in terms of looks than the price it commands. and also the battery life surprisingly actually is good. Easily lasts for a typical working day. So guys, these were my initial thoughts about this Nokia 6.1 Plus. And guys, the review might take time because, as I've mentioned, I'm waiting for a software update. I only want to do the full review after I get an update. So maybe the review will come out sometime in September. So anyways guys, thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and if you guys are still not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care guys.